Well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap.
So, policing the internet in Germany, where hate speech insults are a crime. You know, I'm doing this mainly because I want to bring complete attention to the fact that Germany already did this in history. In fact, I have a few tabs open here where we're going to go into it and how similar these things are. You know, this is the whole thing. And at the end of the day, you know where the majority of this globalist shit is coming from? The WEF in Germany. Isn't it funny how for a second time Germany wants to control the world with a one world government, you know, where speech is policed and you get arrested and thrown into the gulags for speech crimes like every actual fascist dictatorship. And that's the funniest thing. The left loves to go around calling every little thing fascist. This right here is the definition of fascism. Look it up. This is what fascism is, and this is what the left wants. This is what people need to learn. They are projectors. They are just projectors. Everything they call people fascists, racist, they are the most racist people. That's the thing. As a black person, I have never dealt with more racism than since this leftist shit started before Biden, after the whole fucking coked up drug head got choked out by a cop. And I'm gonna call him that. I don't fucking care if it makes you mad. Cry me a fucking river and suck my goddamn dick. That's all I gotta say about that, bro. Like, seriously, I don't feel bad if a drug addict dies, especially one that's been doing stupid shit like he did. Now, let's move on from that and go on. Let's dive on in to this fucking this shit, and we'll go ahead and talk about the similarities to Nazi Germany and how Germany's going down the exact same road that they went down before, except without all the power and, you know, actually building up their country. In fact, they're doing the opposite. They're collapsing right now, and it's going to shit. But it's one of those things of, again, they're going towards the angle of another fascist socialist dictatorship, and due to that, you can never admit to being wrong. So the politicians and government keep finding ways to blame the German people for the horrible policies that are slowly collapsing their country.
Ever dared to read the comments on a social media post, you might start to wonder if civilized discourse is just a myth.
Or you've never been on the internet before and you're a little soy baby bitch. You know, that could be a thing. Like, thinking about it, I saw a video of somebody who almost got hit by a car on a bike, and they didn't get hit. They didn't get hit at all. They almost got hit. But they censored the video of them almost. It's a thing, the video went blurry when they almost got hit. And all I'm thinking about is, wow, y'all are this fucking soft. Y'all are that soft that they have to censor someone almost getting hit by a car. When I was fucking, like, 11 years old, you used to see videos of people getting turned into hamburger meat when they got fucking run over by a truck and shit. You got to see everything, you know? And it's one of these things of, they wonder why people are such soy little baby bitches who can't hold down a job, because they have a panic attack every time they're thrown into a real life situation that actually puts them in a little bit of stress.
Aggressive threats, lies, and harassment have unfortunately become...
You know, there is such thing as a block button, or you could just not engage in interaction with the person at all and just let them keep going. And that's what I usually do. I just fucking ignore the person and let them talk to themselves, because what's the point? Like, seriously, what's the point, you know? Why should I engage in it?
The norm online, where anonymity has emboldened some users to push the limits of civility. In the United States, most of what anyone says, sends, or streams online, even if it's hate-filled or toxic, is protected by the First Amendment as free speech. But
Yeah, because we've watched every fascist dictatorship fucking fall into fucking disarray every goddamn time. It's the thing, once you start running a government based on we don't want people to say certain things, it starts to become a, oh, well, we want... You remember what happened with COVID-19 and how they refused to admit that first that the thing leaked from a lab, and now they are literally saying, yeah, that's what happened. And we actually know the companies that the funding went through to pay for that virus to be made. That's the thing, we actually have all of that now. Then it was a thing of, you must get the vaccine or you're fucking like Satan, you're the devil if you don't get the vaccine, you know. And it was one of those things of, you're gonna be a public health threat, and what do you know, nobody was a public health threat at all. Then it became a thing of the vaccines are causing health problems, and they refused to allow anyone to speak about that because that became false information. You see how communism works? They force you into things that ultimately kill people, but no one's allowed to sound the alarm bells that people are dying because the communists don't want to be wrong. That's ultimately the problem with communism, and that's why communism always kills so many people. But hey, let's keep listening to these communists and their fascist dictatorship that they want to, you know, revive the whole Nazi Germany thing that happened so long ago and that's the thing, they want to go down the same path that they went down so many years ago that led to the downfall of their country last time. Maybe they won't genocide entire groups of people, I don't know. Again, it's communism, and it's the type of communism of, we are ultimately right no matter what you say. And the issue with this leftist shit is they if you look at, like, let's say Assassin's Creed Shadows, what do they say about Japanese people? They're white adjacent. So they should be, you know, treated like the devil and outcasted from society. Their culture, and this is another thing, it doesn't even just reach into Japanese culture. They think that all cultures should be universal. They have no respect for anyone's culture, and they literally try to turn it into their version of what they believe the culture should be, and then bash on the people who are actually from it in order to try and force them to accept their version of what they believe these people should have been raised throughout thousands of years in, and how their country should have been founded. It's one of those things of, that type of communism doesn't stay in one country. At the end of the day, if a country rises up with a big enough military, eventually they're going to want to start forcing other people into their shit. Because that's how they believe it should be done. If you won't listen to us tell you should believe it, then it should be at the end of the barrel of a gun. And we can see, obviously, with the amount of these crazy fucking retards out here right now that won't shut the fuck up, that keep saying they need to kill people, that won't follow what they believe in. What do you think's going to happen when they have control of militaries and government? Do you think that these psychopaths that belong inside mental institutions, again, we need to bring those back, make mental insane asylums great again. That's what I'm running on right now. Make insane asylums great again so we can get this shit the fuck out of society, because none of this was a problem until we closed those damn things.
Germany is trying to bring some civility to the World Wide Web.
Is that what Nazi Germany called it when they started policing and arresting people for speech? It's civility. That's the thing. It's always in the name of progress, right? Because that's what Germany was doing it for, in the name of progress, for Germany to become better. And now, once again, Germany is policing and arresting for speech in the name of progress.
By policing it in a way most Americans could never imagine.
Because we're not fascist, tyrant, fucking scumbags, and we're not a communist country that wiped out several million people the last time they did this. You want me to really go there? You really want me to go there? Because the last time you people did this, you killed several million people in gas chambers. You know, that's the main reason we don't imagine about doing these things. Because we don't want to go down the road of collapsing country and genocides. But hey, I guess Germany just wants to do it all over again. Let's keep going.
In an effort, it says, to protect discourse, German authorities have started prosecuting online trolls. And as we saw, it often begins with a pre-dawn wake-up call from the police.
The story will continue in a moment.
Yeah, so let's take that moment to go over here. In Nazi Germany, people could be arrested for almost any speech that criticized the Nazi regime. Now, what are we dealing with? The LGBT leftist regime. What are they doing in Germany? Oh, so let's change a few words here. In Germany, take out that, people could be arrested for almost any speech that criticizes the left regime. Huh. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? They love to call people Nazis, but look who's actually copying the Nazis. That's the thing. I really, it's at this point, we really gotta just do this because I'm so sick and tired of these fucktards calling everyone Nazi while they actually copy what these people were doing. Key points about speech restrictions in Nazi Germany: no freedom of speech. The leftist regime systematically removed basic civil rights like freedom of speech, meaning people could not openly criticize government or its leaders. Huh. Whoa, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Volks... Is that a German word? I don't know how to say that. A concept similar to incitement or hatred. Oh, incitement or hatred. So policing hate speech? Would you look at that? Nazi Germany policed and arrested people for speech under hate speech and incitement. Wow. Wow, what similarities they are. Meanwhile, they want to call, again, they are projectors of who they truly are. They love to project what they are onto everyone else. Propaganda and censorship. The Nazi regime heavily controlled information through propaganda and censorship. Well, doesn't that sound similar, where they're forcing it into absolutely everything from movies, to stores, to video games, to government, to fucking buying groceries. Literally every aspect of your life revolves around their fucking leftist shit, because they have to force it into everything. Propaganda. And then what are they doing next? Censoring freedom of speech under incitement and hatred. Huh. Isn't that crazy that the Nazis did that? And now Germany's doing it again. Just go ahead. You know, it's one of those things of any time some leftist friend of yours wants to fucking try to call somebody a Nazi, just show them this. Show them this, because, again, one of my biggest things I've learned is that Democrats are the mentally retarded of the world. That's the best way to explain it. They do not know how to read. You know, if they weren't so stupid and their shit didn't end up with people dying, I'd probably feel bad for how handicapped they are. Because reading is a basic skill everybody knows, and these people obviously don't know how to do it. Because if they did, they could simply read history and learn about these things. I mean, if they did, they could simply learn that being an illegal in the United States is against the law if you actually read the fucking laws. You know, again, it's reading. They don't know how to read. They're mentally handicapped. It used to be a joke, but at this point, I think it's actually true. I mean, looking at you've seen the trans sanctuary city video of the people that were arguing for it. None of those people looked like they shouldn't have been locked up in an insane asylum. They all definitely would be in one if they were still open to the public. That's just the truth of the matter right here. But let's go back. Let's go ahead and go back.
It's 6:01 on a Tuesday morning. And we were with state police as they raided this apartment in northwest Germany.
Hier ist die Polizei, wir müssen bitte mal mit Ihnen reden.
Inside, 6 armed officers searched a suspect's home, then seized his...
6 armed officers because they said something offensive on the internet. That's what the Nazis did. That's exactly what the Nazis did. How long do you think it will be until the camps show up? They just gotta ask that question, because again, Nazi Germany didn't start out. When the Nazis rose to power and everything, it wasn't immediately arrest people and kill them. It was literally stuff like this. Arresting people for stuff like this and slowly okaying society to the idea that these people are a threat that needs to be dealt with, eventually leading to killing them once they, influenced their public through censorship and propaganda enough for the public to think that, yeah, go ahead and kill them. It's better that we get rid of those parts of society that won't follow along in the Nazi regime. Oh, I'm sorry, leftist regime. Just saying, that's what happened. But,
his laptop and cell phone.
And this is one of my biggest things. I see a lot of people talking about this. Not many people are talking about... I haven't seen anybody, honestly. For me, I haven't seen a single person talk about the similarities to what they're doing here and what happened in Nazi Germany. Because it's... it's the same beginnings. This is the exact same... And that's the key thing here. This is the beginnings. When Nazi Germany started, this is what they started doing before the killings. But hey, it's one of those things of, what do I know? I just read history. I actually know how to read. Even though it's not, the best, it's still better than Democrats, apparently. It's one of those things of, I used to feel bad about how shitty my reading skills are, and then I realized Democrats exist, and they don't know how to fucking read at all. It's one of those things of, even if I heard them reading something, I wouldn't believe that they knew what they're fucking reading. They memorized it ahead of time. That's all it is. They don't know what the fuck they're reading. They just memorized it.
Prosecutors say those electronics may have been used to commit a crime. The crime, posting a racist cartoon online.
Did you know Pepe is considered a racist cartoon? Pepe, the meme Pepe. That's considered a racist meme by the left. So that could be literally what they did. They could have just posted a Pepe meme, and now they're getting arrested and having 6 officers raid their house in the middle of the night because they fucking posted a Pepe meme. That's literally what Nazi Germany did. That's the thing. You say something bad about the Nazi regime and poof, the Gestapo shows up the Nazis show up at your door and arrest you.
At the exact same time, across Germany, more than 50 similar raids played.
Yeah, I went ahead and stopped the recording and restarted it because none of the stuff is showing up anymore on my screen, so I didn't know if it was recording or not.
Out. Part of what prosecutors say is a coordinated effort to curb online hate speech in Germany. What's the typical reaction?
Wow. Hold on a second. The Nazis did the same thing. How did propaganda and censorship work together? Textbooks are a good example of how propaganda and censorship work together in the leftist regime. The left uses both propaganda and censorship to control what students, or is it studies? Students, I'm fucking going too fast. Read in school. Nazi censorship removed some textbooks from classrooms. And they added a bunch of pedophilia shit into our classrooms throughout the country. And a lot of people try to argue that that's not happening. Yeah, why do so many groups of it's a thing, you could literally look it up, how many groups of parents are bitching at schools, and they post the photos of these books and what's in them. So, if you just fucking simply looked it up and did some reading, maybe that's too difficult for Democrats. If it's not coming straight out of CNN, The View, then they don't know what the fuck to do to find information. That's a thing. They just follow along like lemmings to that shit. New textbooks taught students to obey the Nazi party. Kind of like how they're trying to push all this leftist LGBT shit onto kids and have them try to be part of their stuff now and get them used to it at a young age. Love LGBT and hate Republicans. That's literally the fucking Western version of that right now. Nazi book burnings. We'll pass that. I'm not gonna go into that. Premiere of the film, no. Banning Germans from listening to foreign radio. Yeah, I guarantee they do. That's the thing. They censor a lot of the news inside of Germany and a lot of other European countries. They don't allow you to see news from other countries or certain news stories because it would go against what their government is pushing. And that's the key issue with this type of fascism. At the end of the day, it becomes about... It all turns into corruption and government overstepping everybody, violating human rights, a lot of times committing atrocities against humanity. Like Germany did the last time they did something like this. You know, it's just one of those things of going back in history, and it's the same thing, just no mustache man. No funny mustache man. That's the only real difference. They're doing the same shit that they started doing when the regime back then started to rise, except there's no funny mustache man this time.
When the police show up at somebody's door and they say, hey, we believe you wrote this on the internet.
They say, in Germany we say, das wird man wohl doch mal sagen dürfen. So we are here with crimes of talking, posting in internet, and the people are surprised that this is really...
You know, hold on a moment.
In the late 1920s, the National Socialist Society for German Culture, later known as the Militant League for German Culture, or KFDK, was formed. While this did not begin as an official Nazi organization, its founder was Alfred Rosenberg, a Nazi ideologue who planned on using his organization as a means to impose the core tenets of National Socialism on German culture.
Now, what's happening in America right now? Organizations imposing National Socialism onto the American culture by forcing all of their beliefs and ideologies into every single thing.
Throughout the early 1930s, the KFDK was responsible for the publishing of several periodicals which decried degenerate art, particularly the modernist art movement, and attacked institutions and individuals whom they had declared their enemies.
What does that sound like? What does that sound like, you know? What does that sounds a lot like the left now, doesn't it? Pretty much making things, trying to cancel everything that they don't agree with, marking people as their enemies and getting them fired from jobs and everything like that, and taking over businesses completely and only hiring the people they want for them while kicking out anyone who doesn't follow their bullshit.
Reichstag. He immediately set about banning books, symphonies, and movies that opposed the spirit of National Socialism, including...
You know, and this is the thing, ultimately, this is what the left wants. That's what the left wants right there. A country that is completely controlled by their ideology, where anything that they don't agree with is not allowed. Which, again, destroys art, it destroys culture, it destroys innovation. Pretty much, it makes countries become stagnant in everything.
Including Universal Studios, all quiet on the Western Front. This he did...
Everything except for war. That's the thing. People are probably going to be like, oh, what about China? What is China mainly doing all this stuff? It's the thing. First of all, China steals almost every piece of technology they have from other countries and then remakes it cheaper and shittier. That's not innovation. That's theft. Again, there's a reason why they do that, because they're a communist nation that can't innovate. So if they don't do that and start working with other people's shit, they don't have the shit either. That's how that works. Now, what is the one thing that they do actually innovate in, and they still fail? their military technology. They're still trying to fucking get that shit at a good level, and it's not really that great. It's very shitty at most of the times. There are some things they've done better, but the majority of it is very worse than what we've got. So, you know, it's one of those things of maybe if they allowed people to be creative and think for themselves, they'd be able to come up with great ideas that didn't have to be run through their communist government and get okayed before it was allowed. That's the thing, think about that. Think about trying to create, like, let's say you wanted to make a house, you know? But you're not allowed to do absolutely anything to that house without first running it through the government and getting the okay to do so. And I'm not talking about, you know, the land and everything on how you're going to build it. I mean everything down to what type of furniture you're going to put in it once it's done being built. All steps of every little detail about building that house must be run through the government first and okayed. Now, one, it's going to take forever to build that fucking house. You know, that's the thing. It's going to take forever for those forms to go through, get okayed, and come back in order to even be able to do absolutely anything. And if it's literally every nail used must be okayed by the government, because, again, communism, we're not thinking about this from just normal shit where you get a permit and the papers and what you need to actually create on the land, and you're good to go from there as long as you don't make it dangerous for the builders and the home after it's built. Other than that, you're pretty good to go. You know, it's not a thing of literally you must build it to these specifications, to this type of wood, to these type of nails, this type of furniture. You're only allowed this many furniture inside, one carpet, one TV. You know, it's like one of those things of literally everything has to be regulated through a communist government before you're allowed to do it. And their whole thing is making sure that you have as little fun as possible. So that one TV is probably going to get like 5 channels of Chinese Communist Network television where you can watch propaganda all day. I kind of went off on a tangent there.
While simultaneously issuing racial and political decrees against the so-called enemies of the German national tradition.
Kind of like how the left is attacking white people constantly while calling everyone else racist, even though, you know, since I don't agree with this stuff, their first thing to usually call me is an N-word race traitor. You know, that's what the non-racist people do. Use a hard N-word and call you a race traitor because you won't believe the same thing they do.
In September of the same year, Goebbels created the Reichskulturkammer, or Reich Chamber of Culture. 7 subchambers were then set up to deal with the different aspects of the art and media: film, literature, fine arts, broadcasting, music, the theater, and the press.
How long do you think it will be before Germany starts instituting laws in order to regulate all public anything so that it doesn't have the wrong message like they did in Nazi Germany? It's the thing, how long do you think it will be till they do this again? I'm just saying, they're following the same path they did last time. How long do you think it will be until they do this? Because they're already past step 1, which is ban speech and start making cultural things illegal and arresting people. Pretty soon it's going to be a thing of all art. Everything must be regulated through a specific section of government, or it's not allowed and you will be arrested. How long? And if you know what happened, like if you know about the Holocaust and the reason why that started, it was mainly because once the Nazi Party made so many things illegal, they were arresting people in the thousands to millions, and it became a thing of, we don't have anywhere to put them anymore. What do we do with all these people? We're still arresting them and we can't put them anywhere. Well, let's have our soldiers shoot them. Well, you know, couple while in, soldiers are getting PTSD and committing suicides at extremely high rates. Okay, how about we gather them up in camps and gas them? That's what happened. It became a thing of there are too many people to arrest, not enough places to put them. Only solution is to start killing. Just saying, man.
Anyone who wanted to work with any of these disciplines was required to be a member of its respective chamber.
Yeah, that's how China works. All companies work through the Chinese communist government. They have to work through the Chinese communist government and abide by anything that they're told by that government. All businesses in China.
This allowed the ministry to have complete control over the country's artistic and journalistic output and to silence any dissenting voices. Members of a chamber were forced to follow strict measures if they wished to continue working within their chosen field, such as requesting permission to leave the country for work. At the time the Nazis took control, Germany...
Oh, you mean like a whole digital ID system that they wanted to implement where you literally have to have the digital ID? Again, papers, please. What it used to be in Nazi Germany, papers, please, in order to be allowed to do anything. And they literally got to a point where if you want to go into restaurants in some areas, you had to have your papers, your digital, your proof of your COVID vax. New York was doing that for a while, where you weren't allowed into businesses and restaurants if you didn't have proof of it. Huh.
Germany had around 4,700 periodicals in circulation, the vast majority of which were not loyal to the new regime. Germany becoming a one-party system unsurprisingly led to the closure of a number of these new outlets.
A one-party system, isn't that what the left wants? A one-party system where only they hold power forever and no one ever gets to change anything? Huh.
Particularly the more politically motivated, as laws and underhand deals designed to Aryanize businesses witnessed a dramatic thinning of the field by the time the Reich Press Chamber was established. There remained plenty of work to be done, however, to ensure the destruction of the free press. The Editor's Law of October 4th, 1933 forbade Jews or anyone who was married to a Jew from working in the press. Daily instructions were handed...
Kind of like DEI stuff where they're forbidding white people from working in businesses at all. Just it's one of those things of, if the closest thing to this is DEI policies where they're actually racially deciding jobs based off of not qualifications, but do you have the right skin tone and do you believe in the right ideology? That's the closest thing right there to that one.
Down by the ministry to newspapers dealing what stories they could tell and how they could tell them.
Huh. You mean just like how this fucking news articles... Let's go down every leftist news article. What are they all saying? Constitutional crisis. Constitutional crisis. We're in a constitutional crisis. You fucking bitches don't give a rat's ass about the Constitution. The same people that are screaming constitutional crisis are the same people that were saying it's an old racist document that needs to be gotten rid of. It's one of those things of, you know, it might have worked before, before the George Floyd riots. You might have been able to get away with something like that, but after literally 8 years of you fucktards saying that the Constitution is racist and needs to be removed, and literally it turning into a thing of you only want to talk about the Constitution, I would say when it favors you, but he hasn't done anything. That's the thing with what the courts have said. There's no constitutional anything happening here. It's a thing, nothing. In fact, the Constitution doesn't guarantee anyone should get any sum of taxpayer money. I don't remember anywhere in the Constitution it's saying that certain groups or people have a right to the collected taxes of the masses. Where is that? Where do they say that? Where in the Constitution does it say that I must give tax dollars to the government so that they can buy condoms for Iraq or whatever country it was, dude? Where in the Constitution does it say that? I'll wait. I'll fucking wait.
Failure by any editor or journalist to comply with these instructions could result in them losing their jobs, or in extreme cases, their admittance to a concentration camp.
Well, I guess Germany is arresting people. That's a thing. People definitely were losing their jobs. That was happening, huh? Isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy how similar these people are to the Nazis? And you know what the most funniest part is? A lot of them were saying that we should start opening re-education camps. A lot of them are pro-re-education camps. Well, guess what, people? When the Nazis first started their camps, you know what they were? Re-education camps. Then they became death camps. It's one of those things of, isn't it funny how these people are following the exact same path as the Nazis while calling everyone else a Nazi? I just wanted to do this. It's a thing. It's one of those things of, I just wanted to point out history for once and actually bring it out and show it to everyone and read it out loud, because I understand that Democrats are fucking stupid and you don't know how to read, so I have to fucking do it for you. But, you know, if they even listen to... It's a thing, most of them don't listen to anything they don't agree with. They just click on it and say bad things about people that they don't like because they're little baby bitches who can't handle any type of criticism, and as long as they're safe behind their fucking keyboard, they'll talk all the shit they want to. It really is one of those things, man, because goddamn, they never really want to fucking throw hands in person, I've noticed. There's, like they said, I can't remember who's talking about it, there are no masculine men in the Democrat Party anymore. That's fucking true. You know how many Democrat women I've slept with? You know how many hard left women I have slept with in the past, like, 4 years? And it's hilarious because they don't agree with absolutely anything I believe in, but they don't want Democrat men. I'm just saying, bro, they don't want Democrat men because they're too soy. And if you talk, they'll actually admit that. I've talked to some of them about it. That's the whole reason they don't go after those type of guys. They're too fucking soft. They're too emotional. They're too much like a female, is what they say. You know, I'm just saying. And what, 70% of lesbian marriage ends in divorce. So, you know, remember, men are shit. We're all bad. We're garbage. We're trash. But, you know, I'll fuck off now. I got nothing else to say.